I'll tell you who else I think is in panic mode, and you give me a scale of 1 to 10 here.
All right.
I'm thinking that the Golden State Warriors, who have been such a dominant force this past decade, yeah, they're starting to, their age is starting to catch up to them. Maybe besides Steph Curry, but it seems like, all of the investment on these guys has paid off, but it might come at a detriment, and they might be in struggle mode for the next upcoming years. What do you think? What would you rate out of 10?
I wish we could go to 11 because they're just bad, man. And look, here's the thing, too. Like, once again, this is not personal. This is just the facts. This is why people listen to us. They're 9 of 11. You have a $211 million salary. You're the number one salary in the NBA. You're paying $195 million in luxury tax. So in reality, this team's like a $400 million team. All right. Can you really justify being in the play-in tournament right now? No, you can't. That's insane. Look, I got a question for you, JD. This will be fun. This is funny. As of November 20th, okay, what do you think they ranked in transition frequency? 1 through 36, right?
Transition frequency?
Yeah, 1 through 36. What do you think they were?
What even is transition frequency?
Transition movement, offense and defense.
Oh, what are they? Dead last because they're all old?
Close, man. 29th. 29th. And when I think of Golden State, back me up here if you agree. I think of like a couple things. I think of like volume 3-point shooting because of obviously Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And then I think of just like a ferocious transition defense and offense. Like I remember back in like 2015, man, back when like Draymond Green could actually rebound. Like that was a long time ago, obviously. I remember this dude catching rebounds, and I remember Klay and Steph running up the court, and they were already in position. What made this team so dangerous back then was they were a transition nightmare. They would just cook you in transition, and they could cook you off the three-pointer. Like, that's what made Golden State, at least in my opinion, like, so special. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just not that team anymore. They're not even close to that team.
The issue with Golden State is definitely the fact that their age is catching up, in my opinion, and the
Oh,
fact
yeah.
that they have paid all of these guys these enormous salaries, and it's just
Absurd money.
unsustainable, especially if you're not winning. So you got to give them kudos. Obviously, they have built up this amazing franchise. Basically on the coattails of Steph Curry. By the way, just want to put that out there, but I think that Klay Thompson's not who he used to be. Draymond Green, obviously, I think is the most overrated player in the NBA, but he's not what he used to be either. And you can see it. These guys are underperforming, and what's worse is the older you get, the more likely you probably are that you get frustrated with yourself. I mean, like, let's take a look at senior citizens. These guys, maybe get their license revoked or something. This is all hypothetical, but like you get your
Right.
license revoked. It's hard. It hurts. You get upset. You're sad about it.
Yeah,
That's
your
what's happening
pride,
to
your
these
pride
senior
is
citizen
wounded.
Golden State Warriors. You know, like they injure. They're just not as good as they used to be. So they get chippy. How many times have we seen Draymond just go berserk, like with Gobert, that extra long chokehold? He should be out for the season, but it seems like Adam
Well,
Silver has a
that
soft spot for the Warriors. And
that's the
same thing with
problem
Clay.
with
Nobody
Draymond.
wants to bring up Clay, but he was with McDaniels. It was his fault. He started that. These guys are just chippy because they're getting old. They're not as good as they used to be.
No, I totally agree, man. And that's the problem with Draymond. He can't even stay in the game, man. So like he was suspended for 5 games. He was thrown out of 2. He almost got thrown out of the Kings game where they were up by 25 and they lost that game.
He's got issues.
And we'll talk about that in a second. But like, dude, even the guys on TNT, Kenny the Jet Smith, he even called Draymond out, dude. He said, at what point are you going to stop acting like a rookie? Like, you're a champion, you're a veteran, and like you're setting a bad example. You can't even play basketball anymore because you can't stay on the court. Like, there's a problem with that. Like, he karate chopped Malik Monk and then looked at the ref like he was trying to get thrown out. At this point, Mr. Triple Single is just not who he used to be. He knows that. Like, and I've said this before, man. Like, once you start a podcast as an NBA player, you know that your career's over, man. And the problem
What
with
about
Draymond is
PG?
like, dude, it's true. Like, Draymond can't even stay on the court anymore. Like, he used to be a
What?
glue guy for them. He used to be their transition passer. He used to be a great defensive player. He used to be like the guy who could cut and like he would attack the offense and then he would kick out to Steph or Clay. He's not that guy anymore. And it's not just him, man. Klay Thompson, 15 points per game. You're making 42 million, my man. Like, that's all we're gonna get from you. I
Well, I just
expect you
want to
to.
quickly point out that Paul George has a podcast and he's still killing it.
That's fair. And I love the podcast P. I really do. Like, his podcast is a lot of fun, actually. I listened to him talk to Lou Williams, and he made this great argument for why Lou Will is the greatest six man of all time. And honestly, like, he's not lying. Like, Lou Williams does not get the credit he deserves, and maybe one day we'll talk about that. But I got three names for us right now since we're talking about Golden State: Andrew Wiggins, Chris Paul, Klay Thompson. None of these guys are doing anything.
Okay.
Look, JD, I got a fun question for you. Okay, the first 11 games, there was only one player to score over 20 points for Golden State. It was Steph Curry. Can you guess who the other two were after 11
Who?
games?
Who?
Just
Moody?
Brandon
Kaminga?
Pujensky and Dario Saric.
Wow.
That's where we're at.
That's a
Golden
crazy
State.
stat.
Yeah, dude, that's an insane stat. And that's the problem, is when we're looking at this team, you're right. They're underperforming. You're blowing a 25-point lead to the Kings. They're the new kids in town. Dude, Mike Brown coached for the Golden State Warriors. You're seriously going to tell me that he's just going to take the same offensive schematic and go to a younger, more athletic team and just blow you guys out of the water? It's honestly embarrassing. They went 1-1 versus the Clippers. And you know what? Podcast P, the guy we're talking about, he came out after their win and he said the reason we beat them is because they don't have a rim protector. The Clippers whooped their ass, man. Like, it's embarrassing. They traded Jordan Poole, which was a huge mistake. They traded James Wiseman, which was really stupid. These are young players that they could have developed. They're just barely giving Moses Moody minutes, thank God. But like Jonathan Kuminga, he's never had a chance. Like Steve Kerr, man, like, he's living in the past, man. He's trying to put this, like, he's made comments before. We've heard him say this. This is not the place to develop young players. And now we're watching them bite them in the ass. Well, I mean, why is Andrew Wiggins shooting 60% from the rim? Like, didn't he just dunk on Luka like 2 years ago in the playoffs? You're telling me that this guy can't get to the rim anymore? Steph Curry has a 30% usage. He's averaging almost 30 points per game. Like, he's already putting this team on his back. Who else is going to step up? It's not going to be Draymond. Draymond can't offensively do anything. It's embarrassing. I mean, he put up 21 points against the Clippers, thank God, but he also missed the corner three for the winning bucket. Like, there just has to be a massive overhaul for this team. Bob Myers is already gone. They traded Jordan Poole. I don't care what anyone says. They're missing him because Chris Paul is already hurt. Gary Payton's hurt. Guess what? This team isn't making the playoffs. They're just not. I said that last year. No one liked that. No one agreed with it. But guess what? That's what's happening. Like, this team is not who they used to be. JD, we talked about the most electric playoff series last year, which in my opinion, hopefully your opinion, was the Kings versus the Warriors. I loved that. You said the Warriors were going to win in 7, and they did. I said the Kings were going to win in 7. They lost. But damn, it was incredible, JD. I I still remember that playoff series. I remember the Kings going to Golden State. They were down 3-2, and everyone said, nah, Golden State's going to close them out, and the Kings won, and it was incredible. That was box office. But I remember after that playoff series happened, Golden State looked hurt, and they looked old. And now